With the Epstein files going viral for not being released when it should have been going viral for being released, a lot of names have come under fire. The biggest one, not just Pam Bondi, is Kash Patel. Many of you might remember Kash being a very vocal person on all kinds of podcasts, speaking all kinds of crazy stuff about said case, and was always vowing if he ever were to get in a position where he could do something about it, it would be number one priority for him to get done, even during the time that he was nominated and before he got elected into that spot. That was his biggest tout, that he was going to make sure that justice was served on the Epstein case. Fast forward 5 months into the process, that's not been done. And not only has it not been done, the contrary has been brought forward. In fact, he has changed his tune so substantially, you would think he was a clone. I mean, that's not far fetched to believe, is it, though? Maybe. Sidebar, we'll figure that out later. It might be. Now, there have been all kinds of allegations as to why this might be the case. Everything from he just wanted a position, so he lied about what he was going to do, to he never had any intentions of doing it. And what he really planned to do was to get in there for a different reason, which was revenge, whatever that was for. And the third reason we've heard is that he has something going on with a side chick or a chick that he's seeing that has to do with a certain country in the Middle East. I think y'all can figure out who that is and begins with an I. I won't mention that because that would get us in trouble. But y'all might know who they're talking about. The real question isn't any of those three, whether he wanted to, couldn't, or wasn't planning to, or he is being coerced into doing it. The fact remains, he didn't. Both him and Mr. Bongino had big talking games. And we genuinely thought we finally found the persons that would do something to bring an end to this regime. We thought, by the way they were talking, everybody was saying, these are, I will be first to admit, I was all on the bandwagon for Kash Patel because of how much he stood up to people that were trying to berate him. I even bought the story about him going through all kinds of racial and prejudicial things before he got elected. I bought everything, hook, line, and sinker. Why? Because I genuinely heard him speaking for years before now about this. In my head, I'm thinking, if this dude has been this consistent about this topic, surely getting in there and proving to me that he has spine in front of the House and in front of the Senate. He was, man, if you watched his confirmation hearing, you would have been sold to. I watched it and I thought to myself, oh, finally, Orange Man picked somebody like spine, just like him. They can stand in the ring, pow, pow, hit back when they're ready. But all of a sudden, all that pow, pow went away. We watched him sit down in front of an interviewer and lie to the American people about things. I would never think that would happen. No, I mean, I looked at all the information and trust me, it didn't happen. No, he did not. No, he was definitely alone, and we will show you proof that it was. Trust us. Sounding exactly like the people he was berating months before. Now, I'd understand if somebody gets in there and their hands are tied by red tape. I would buy that. I can understand you getting in there and there are people that are not cooperating with you. I can get that. But the mere fact that you got in there and you could clear the slate of everybody that didn't want to cooperate and you had that option. In fact, you were mentioning that you were doing just that. You guys were weeding out the deep state. You were going to go after everybody that was blocking this and blocking that and probably potentially corrupt when it comes to the Epstein file. You were going to get rid of all them people because you knew for a fact that Epstein did not put himself in a predicament of ending his own life. You knew this. Then you said you saw paperwork and you saw video. And then you released the video that you saw. And the video we saw that you said you saw, we didn't see what you said you saw. Tongue twister. Nothing on that video proved diddly squat about Epstein. Not, you know, I lie. It did prove something. That y'all took a whole minute out of it to hide something that you didn't want nobody else knowing. Because here's what we said. You said the camera was broken. But you weren't showing us the film from the broken camera. That would make no sense, right? But you did release footage. And even on the working camera, it was still broken. Look, I understand that government stuff don't last. And when y'all fix stuff, it don't stay fixed. I get it. Look at the roads. But your own cameras? You film stuff on potatoes and wanting us to believe that you had our best interest at heart. You're a liar, Cash. Let's just be frank. Let's just be frank, okay? We can be frank, and we told everybody this on this platform before. So anybody coming at us with this whole y'all are traitors, say what you want to say. We've been saying this from day one. If you say you're going to do something and we find out you didn't do it, guess what we going to do? We going to light firecrackers up under that, and we're going to. Everybody's foot is going to get held to the same fire. I don't care if you're nice. I don't care if you're not nice. I don't care if you're on the left, you're on the right. I don't care what you consider yourself, especially when it comes to this particular topic of the exploitation of the youngest of us, the weakest of us, the most vulnerable of us. And you stood there for months and years, Cash, spouting a whole lot of soliloquy. You were very adamant about making sure you do the right thing. And here you go, doing the complete opposite of right. You and this other one that y'all call the head honcho, Pam Bondi, she got the nerve to come back out and then reiterate all video lose at least a minute. You know, in some ways, I put you guys in the same category as false teachers. I can see why people don't like God because of some people, and I can see why we can't trust certain entities when they say stuff either. Because y'all lie. You said, Pam, you had things on your desk. You said that Cash was getting all this information for you. You said this. You said that Cash was making sure he cleared every hurdle coming from the FBI's desk. He was gathering all the information. Even he found that people were keeping stuff from you. And Cash went out of his way to get all the documentation for you. You said that. Cash came forward and said the same thing. Now, all of a sudden, all the paperwork you find don't have no relevancy. It was just all what? Binding paper? What was on this paper? What, just what? Shorthand? Gibberish? One name repeated 15 million times? Epstein, 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 Epstein. That's the only thing on the whole paper? That's what you want us to, so we're how do you, dummy? I'm gonna quote Jane D. Dummies. We're dummies now? Nah, Cash, you the dummy. But then again, we the dummy for believing that you were gonna do what you say what you're gonna do. And hey, look, to your credit, you spoke like you were really gonna do something. You had the bravado, man. Whew, you sold us good. Meanwhile, all the victims of Epstein, one's already passed away. Heaven alone knows how that happened. I wonder, you know what? Nah, maybe you couldn't have had a hand in that, could you? Not y'all. Could that be? Theory. Allegedly. Maybe, perhaps. Maybe Miss Geoffrey just knew too much. Maybe she might have names in the back of her mind and she was going to be willing to put it out there into the ether and say that she knew that was a black book. Maybe all of that was part of the whole. She expired awful weird. It was just kind of, it just happened, out of the blue. Just saying, Cash. But at the same time, hey, what do we know? We don't have the papers. We don't have the information. We don't have the inside intel. You do. All we know is this, Cash. You lied to us. And not only did you lie to us, you lied to us about the most valuable piece of information we have been waiting for 8 years on. We have been waiting for this. We could attribute the first time that Trump was in office to debauchery and inside trading and people not working with him because he had a different regime working in the background. We understood that. We can kind of give that the pass. This time around, y'all came in and y'all flushed out all the so-called rats. Y'all exterminated all the roaches. Y'all said you were starting at ground zero. Y'all closed down offices here. Y'all fired agents over there. This was corrupt. That was corrupt. Only to come back and not give us the information you said you found. You said you found it. You told Miss Blackburn that you're going to work with her to release the Epstein files. That's what you told her in your hearing. Your own words, you said that. You did. Not Pam. You. You said, I will do everything in my power to get that released. You didn't do it. Instead, you did the complete polar opposite and hid it, and for all we know, burned it, destroyed it. So now it really doesn't exist, which makes your claim true. It's not there. I don't even care who you're hiding at this point. I really don't give a damn who you're hiding. That's inconsequential to the fact that you did hide it. It's inconsequential to the fact you didn't do your job. And we are adult enough to know that if somebody doesn't do their job, you fire them. You should be fired. Both you, Pam, and Bongino. Y'all are not worth this the ground you walk on to have that job. You're not, plain and simple. You're not worth being in that position. You did not walk worthy in a manner of that calling. And I don't know if anybody else will be, man. I don't know that anybody else can. Sounds like every time y'all go into these positions, the whole dynamic of your personality changes. You go from one type to another, and then bam, a whole different human shows up. Maybe it's the money, maybe it's the clout, the influence, or they got something on you. But you said you weren't easily bought. Looks like that was a lie. Any case, I guess we shouldn't be looking out for anything else from y'all. At some point, we're going to have to decide to either do it ourselves or not have it done at all. Because I look, I understand you're not the only one that's fallen short of their post. You're not. But you are the most substantial and the most disappointing. To the audience members, y'all think that he actually failed in his job? Was this by design, or is he being blackmailed? You want to give him an excuse? Is he being blackmailed? Or is he just another one of the deep state shills that knew they weren't going to do anything but needed the position, wanted the position, so he lied? Or is he only doing what he could do because the rest of the information is being hid by somebody higher than him? Anyway, whatever your thoughts on that are, you know where we stand. We don't trust him. We gave him time. He decided to act, and his action proves that he's lied to us, and he will continue to do so, seemingly to protect whoever he's protecting. But if you think differently, please leave your comments below. If you agree, leave your comments below. If you're still on the fence and waiting to see if something else might drop, well, we want to hear that too.